Hi, folks, and thanks once again for joining me. This is Radio Joe coming to you from the VidCom Flight Sim Studio in Atlanta, Georgia. And today I'm going to be featuring a brilliant, brand new piece of software from PassThroughForge, that's PTF. This software finally gives us a really easy way to set up mixed reality in DCS world, as well as in Microsoft Flight Simulator 8 or FS 2024. Now, Russ Barlow just shared a really nice video on YouTube. I think it was last week or the week before, on its capabilities in FS 2024. However, today, I'm going to be sharing a bit more comprehensive, probably about a 15-minute video, highlighting some of my own best practices, things that I've learned during the beta program over the past 3 months or so. PTF has now entered the early access phase and is being offered at just $20 for a lifetime license, folks. It's a steal. And as you're going to see, it's brilliant code. It finally gives us an easy way, or gives the rest of us an easy way to set up full pass-through during VR. PTF was initially developed with MetaQuest 3 in mind, which I have kind of right behind me or beside me. However, it's now being tested and is working with several other headsets, including the Pimax family. So what I've recorded are several different sections of footage here to help you understand why and how to align both your 2D or physical cockpit as well as your VR or 3D cockpit within DCS. Now, one of the things I've learned is that external lighting or interior lighting within the cockpit is critical, as well as ReShade. And many of you already know ReShade. I had not ever successfully set it up until just last week. Let me tell you, ReShade is a must-have in order to be able to see and read your MFDs, your multifunction displays. That's your two DDIs, left and right DDI, and your AMPCD in the lower center of your cockpit or your virtual cockpit. And that's due to DCS's inability really to brighten the screens within the sim itself. However, as you're about to see, it works really well, folks. And as you can see from the pictures that are scrolling here while I'm talking and behind my voice right now, I've built out a very complete FA-18C Hornet cockpit behind me, and it's a full motion cockpit with all the haptics and everything else, and I'm going to talk you through all that. All of it's off the shelf, folks, all the software, all the hardware, everything. And I've included a very exhaustive list of parts and suppliers, including the links to all their sites and the details below in this YouTube video. And as always, you're going to find shortcuts to various sections within the video so you can jump around. You don't have to listen to my boring voice going on in an area you're already familiar with, but you can jump to the areas where you'd like to see, maybe flying over the Straits of Hormuz or taking off from or landing back at Al Minhad Airbase outside of Dubai in the Persian Gulf Mac in DCS. Anyways, enough of my personal diatribe. Let's get to it, shall we? Okay, well, hi once again. Hi, this is Radio Joe coming to you live or semi-live in the virtual mixed reality world from the VidCom-AI Flight Simulator. And what you're seeing now is my actual real cockpit mixed into the reality or the virtual reality of DCS world. And it mixes in beautifully now thanks to a new piece of software called PassThroughForge. Now we're seeing a little bouncing of the cockpit because I am on a motion platform and I have motion turned on or tracking movement turned on in my Quest 3 headset. Now, thanks to my Quest 3 headset and the pass-through cameras, I also have pass-through of my hands turned on so that I can actually see my two Stream Decks here with my buttons programmed for DCS and programmed for, right now, PassThroughForge. And then I have my DCS world movement of the cockpit programmed here. I can go back, and then I also then have function keys 9 through 12, as well as visor up, visor down, go back to PassThroughForge, space key and things, and home key and things that are used in missions to accept where you are to move to the next step. I also have function keys 1 through 8 programmed over here, as well as volume up, down, and then some other things, escape key, and then my cursor's up, down, so I can select the in-game menus. Now, the nice thing is that with PassThroughForge, I can actually see and interact with my real cockpit, and not only that, everything lines up perfectly. Now, thanks to ReShade, I can actually almost also read my WinWing displays. I can actually see the differences here in the menus on this screen. I can see the waypoint button. I can see the select flight plan button. And I can actually see those things show up on my display here. Important right now, the important thing is that I do have these buttons now all firmly visible. There's my program setting for my flight, with my waypoints and everything else. I have already selected my, there we go, my ILS signal for, this is Minhad Airbase. And you probably recognize downtown Dubai over there with my helmet-mounted display turned on. Let me turn that off. I have, thanks to my SB Flight canopy open-close and combo panel here, I actually have a toggle button here to toggle both my visor and my goggles, and then the actual canopy. I also have my arm, and you can hear it arming. Arm, disarm, arm. Now let's just turn off that TACAN because it's a little loud. I'm going to turn off the, there we go, that's the ILS beacon that we were hearing. We're also hearing the TACAN because I have that programmed in as well at 99X, as you probably well know. So these things are programmed, but more importantly, they're very visible, and you can see everything as you would. You can see everything works perfectly thanks to my Tech Creations panels. I also have the Hornet Sim Shop Center pedestal. I've got the Tech Creations IFEI. I've got so many other things. The Hornet Sim Shop actual whole dash surround here with the left and right registers. All the buttons that I have here, and my emergency jet master arm disarm and my spin control IR cool. All of those are from Steven at the Hornet Sim Shop, or HSS, on Etsy. And then SB Flight makes my canopy jettison, or emergency canopy jettison, my dispense button, my circuit breaker panels, and then of course the canopy open close. I showed you the circuit breaker panels here, my FCS bit switch, and of course you recognize the wind controller, the old WinWing MIP Top Gun MIP, as well as the wind control F-15EX joystick, and the older, hard to find wind control Super Taurus throttle, which I absolutely love and adore. I bought it used from a gentleman in Spain, and then I had to fix some things, and there's a video you can find out there online. But today, right now, what we're going to do is we are going to demonstrate how well, I'm going to request a taxi
Code
here.
1, request taxi to runway. Code 1, clear to taxi to runway 27.
We're going to demonstrate how well this PassThroughForge application works, tracking my movement, keeping my real 2D cockpit in line with my 3D virtual cockpit in DCS world. Now, I am actually feeling all the taxiway bumps and humps and everything else here, because I do have the Quebec, QSBT1 seatbelt tensioner, and it is bouncing me around on my seatbelt that I have here, right? And then I also have the Butt Kicker Gamer Plus mounted on the bottom of my rig, as well as the SRS, it's the 6-puck Haptic seat pad from SRS Studios. And these things really add to the immersion and add to your feeling. But let's face it, when your body feels what it should be feeling in flight, your body and your mind can process those inputs and that feedback a whole lot faster and more naturally than it would if you were to try to figure out, wait a minute, what's happening? Something's happening, but I can't tell what that is, right? Feeling your actual missiles and bombs drop away from the fuselage, you physically feel that with these added haptic feedback elements. All right, let's get ourselves over here, and of course, have this entire thing installed on my MiXed-Reality P3 motion platform. I opted for the P3 versus the H3. The H4 and P4 were not available at the time that I purchased these about a year and a half ago. But the nice thing is that as I turn here, I'm actually feeling the skew. I feel the bounces and the movements up and down, and that also makes it a little interesting for you to follow these things along, and this is one of the elements that PassThroughForge has done really, really well with the OpenXR layer that it ties into, and the Quest 3 controllers that are placed over here to my right, and they're actually placed in a place where the viewports can actually see me.
Able to clear for takeoff.
All right.
Code 1. You are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.7.
We are good to go. I'm really getting jerked around here by my seatbelt tensioner, so that's why it's bouncing the entire frame around. That's why you saw all that jerking motion. So that's nice. Once you get up in the air, you're not really feeling that, right? Because the ground isn't bouncing your plane all around. And it really settles in, and it's a very, very nice experience. So this is a very immersive experience here, and of course now with ReShade dialed in, you really see the difference in the ground effects. And by the way, I'm running this on a 5080 with a 9800X3D AMD CPU and an NVIDIA 5080 dialed in. You see I'm going from anywhere from 72 to 114 to 130 frames per second and maxing out at 97% utilization, but it goes from 56 to 78 to 97% utilization quite readily, and we're staying very cool at 58, 59 degrees, 60 degrees Celsius, and then drops back to 54 as the fan curve that I have kicks in. And that's all running on my system down there. You can just kind of see it down there. Now notice there are a lot of folks that are installing the left-hand controller up on a mount on your canopy if you have one like I do, and I do have the left controller mount right here, but I don't have the left controller on it because what I found for me, because of my haptics and everything else, because my seatbelt tensioner bounces the entire frame around so much, that becomes really unusable. So I've turned on the motion or movement tracking that the Quest offers that normally would track you when you're in a car or using your Quest VR headset in a car, a moving object, which I basically am, right? I'm in a moving object. I'm on a moving platform, and of course we're at 400 knots virtually right now, but we're moving back and right and back and forward, and you can see and feel my motion platform actually moving with me or moving me. The nice thing about the P3 is it can handle up to 1,100 pounds total weight on board, and my 210-pound frame is no problem as we fly through the arch. That's always a little fun. And if you can't have a little fun while you're playing around virtually, what the heck are you doing, right? Coming in hot. Let's put out this speed brake and slow her down.
Check landing gear. Wind 270 at 7 meters per second. Runway 27.
Speed brakes to help us slow down. All right, we did it without blowing any tires. Once again, you can feel the ground movement and the ground bumps, and you see my whole frame and everything else bouncing around because of my seatbelt tensioner and the other haptics that I have installed on the frame. That is normal.
Taxi to parking area.
All in all, this is an incredible experience now that I can actually physically see and interact with my cockpit in real time without having to bounce around or just use just the hand pass-through. It's really a nice thing to have, folks, and the PassThroughForge It's just a $20 license. That's a lifetime license. I can't believe how little Goose is charging for this. I expect it to go up in the coming years. Once again, love those C-130s. Thank you, guys. Tuning everything in, and I've got everything turned up pretty high, if not all the way up on my settings in DCS. I'm still getting 90 frames per second on the ground at 55% utilization. We're going to go ahead and turn in here. Easier job of lining up. Go ahead and pull in. There's the wings folding. All right, I believe that's close enough for government work, folks. And a nice little salute. All right. I will go ahead and sign off, everybody. So hope everybody has a great day, and thanks for playing along or flying along with me here virtually in the virtual skies over Dubai. Thanks to DCS World and PassThroughForge. Take care, folks. Have a great day.